Greetings, Nick Bowcott with Sweetwater here, and we have the honor of having the one, the only Scott Ian of Anthrax in our studio. He's here to give a recording masterclass. He's just done the Riot Fest in Chicago, so he has a scaled down rig of his big arena tour rig, but this is basically the nuts and bolts of everything. So there'll be two EVHs instead of just one. There will be more pedals, but basically the same, a few more guitars, but the elements are essentially the nuts and bolts of Scott's operation. So
this is my one-off rig, or as we say in the biz, my fly rig. Honestly, I could use this all the time,
right?
Because it's my tone, and I could use this, but
more is more, right?
Yeah, sometimes more is more, and it's just fun to have the bigger rig.
Right.
Out and have two heads running and all that. You know, sometimes on the bigger stage, it does make a difference if you've got, you know, one head to each cabinet and you're just pushing that much more air.
Yeah, it just gives more width, right?
Yeah.
It's not louder, it's just wider.
Yeah.
Width
but as
good.
it is, I'm the only one in the band that's not on ears.
Right. Oh, right, so you're using monitors.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So it's great for me anyway, even if I'm on one cabinet, because pretty much the whole stage is just the drums that I need and my rhythm guitar and vocal, and so it's just like guitar world up there for me.
Perfect.
It's great. Yeah.
Perfect. So if you're a guitar player, get everyone else on ears apart from yourself,
yes.
and you own the stage.
Yes.
Magic. So let's start, we'll go from soup to nuts. So we'll start with the very often overlooked. You use D'Addario picks. What gauge do you use?
I don't know.
Do you have
73, 88? Do you know? 88. 88. See, that's why you have to have your tech Armando with you to let you know these things. 88. Yeah, I think 73 because a million years ago, I think I was playing 73s, and then at some point I went up the heavier 88s.
Right. And I noticed, very dime fashioned, you have them etched fairly hard just to give you more grip.
Yeah,
right?
I got that from Daryl when at some point in the 90s he handed me a pick we were doing something, and he handed me a pick, and I was like, oh, what's that all about? And he's like, yeah, I have the Dragon score them for me, so I don't drop them. Dragon was his Tech Grady. And so I just started copying that because it just feels really good.
It does.
I find I can't play, it could be totally mental, but if I pick up a pick that's not scored,
can't do it.
I can't play.
Just drop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, your right-hand technique is crucial to your tone. The gear is, but it's all about you at the end of the day. You have one of the best right hands in the business. Look at that, one of the best ones ever. How tightly do you choke your pick? Because I know when I interviewed James all those years ago, he's actually hitting it with his fingers as well as his pick.
It's up
you
my
doing
fingers.
The same?
Yeah, I'm way up on it. My son has been playing guitar for about a year now, and I watch him sometimes, and he's holding the pick like over here. I'm like, no, move your fingers. You got it. But I understand, like, not everybody plays like me.
No.
But yeah, I'm way up. I mean, I'm way up on it. My index finger is hitting, every pick is hitting the string. I mean, this nail is a freak of nature now because it can't grow properly anymore. And
so your index is probably a little bit of your thumb as well. So you've got that, gives you that extra whack.
There's something about it, but it's that connection with the string. Like if I don't feel it, then I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
I don't know.
So it's not just palm muting, folks. It's more than that. It's your picking animalistic.
You need to sacrifice parts, extremities of your body to play metal. It's really the only way. They say it is the devil's music, and you know, if you don't bleed a little bit and give a little bit of that, it's just not going to sound right.
Even if it's just a nail, right?
It's always the nail.
Yeah.
Gary Holt on these endless Slayer shows we've been doing over the last couple of years, he showed me, he's got this whole thing where he puts a fake nail on top. He has literally a nail salon backstage. So I'd go see Gary Holt, and he would put a fake nail on over my nail. And, you know, it kind of worked. It saved this nail the first week of the tour from the usual, it gets all torn apart and it hurts, and then you got to play with it hurt. And until it finally starts, it takes about a week, and then it feels okay. But he put the fake nail on, and it saved all that. But it was a disconnect for me.
Right, I was going to say.
Because
plastic on plastic,
I had this
flesh.
big thing on top of my nail, and it just felt weird to me. And so I had to rip the thing off. And I assume if I went with it and just tried it, like I'm gonna commit to this for a whole run, 30 shows, I probably would have gotten used to
Right.
it. But I'm just such a weirdo when it comes to things about playing. Like, I just want to I'm just going to do it the way I do it. I don't want anything new. I just want to do it my way.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's tactile though. So from pick to strings, Diodario, right?
Yes. Pick
10
the strings.
through 52 at the moment?
Yeah, on the main, just like half step down, or actually we play everything in concert pitch now. We're in 440.
Or half step down for after 92, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, but just like a year or 2 years ago, at some point we were messing around with something at sound check. I think for some reason I had a guitar in 440. I think I started playing Medusa, and Joey started singing it, and we were like, wow, it really sounds, and it's like, well, yeah, it sounds great because that's the way we recorded it. And Joey's like, I don't know why we do anything in half step. I'll sing them all in normal. So we tuned everything back up. And the first time we started playing those songs up again, there was like this energy
The
to
life
it.
to it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, not that they sounded bad half step down, but all of a sudden it was like they were reborn, like, because that's the tuning they're meant to be in. And so yeah, lots of guitars in 440, a couple guitars in half step, then some with a drop C sharp for like songs like In the End and Blood
Right.
Eagle Wings. And
I believe that Armando was telling me that's 56 through 11 or 11 through 56.
yeah, on the drop tuning, 56 through 11, just a little
Almost
bit
Malcolm
heavier.
Young approved, almost.
Yeah, I think I don't know exactly what he used, but there was a moment in time where I went like 12 to 60
That's pretty
on
up
some
there,
guitars, thinking that I'm going to be like this super badass and play on that heavy of a gauge, and it just chewed my hands up. Not just my right hand, my left hand too. Just playing that all night, it was like, oh my God, these strings they're killing me. And I did also realize strings that heavy work for me and my tone on stuff where I'm playing just more big chords.
Right.
On the slower stuff, it doesn't really. It actually doesn't sound as good on faster
flub
picking
enough,
stuff.
maybe?
Yeah, that just the tone. It
Right.
changed the tone in a negative way on the faster stuff. So I had a couple of reasons to not play such heavy,
Right.
strings anymore.
So there's two kind of oxymorons there, folks. Number one, sometimes down tuning doesn't always work, even though it sounds great. Sometimes songs will sound better in regular tuning. Bigger strings not always better. If you're wondering why I brought up Malcolm Young, that tattoo, one of the best tattoos ever.
Yeah, Cat
A
Von D
true
did that
sign of
years ago.
reverence.
I got
Of course.
Angus too, of course.
Yeah, you got to have the brothers.
Yeah.
So, how high would you say your action is?
It's not super low and it's not super high. It's somewhere. As much as I love super low action, I said this to Armand the other day. My son has a Strat out with us right now, and he's got the action is down so low, and it's so easy to play, and it just feels so good. And I feel like I'm such a better guitar player when I'm playing on a guitar with super low action. But when it comes to actually playing live
Getting
and being
the tone.
on stage, I can't play with that action that low because I'm digging in
Right.
harder than I should be probably. But it's just the way I play.
Right.
It's just naturally. I'm not thinking about it on stage. I'm just doing it. And if the action's that low, and the way I dig in and the way I play, it doesn't feel right. I'm not getting enough like push. I'm not getting enough push back,
Right.
like on chords and stuff like that. So.
And there's that ring factor as well. You
Yeah,
got that.
it just needs to be a little bit higher. I can't have it just like butter. It doesn't work for me. I'm more of a olive oil. I don't even know what that means.
So you're not Popeye, you're olive oil. No.
Yeah.
Do you
No,
wanna-
I used to a long time ago. I had it in my head that I needed my action really high,
Right.
Because of the way I dig in with my right hand, and it did sound really good. But it just, of course, it makes everything that much harder
Right, it's a
to
compromise at the end
do.
of the day.
Yeah, so I've kind of found that happy medium of where it should be, not too low, not too high. Everything in moderation.
Yep. There you go. Would you mind grabbing a guitar? Actually, pick any one that you want, and we'll just quickly go over it.
Sure. Do you prefer one with Floyd, or it doesn't matter? We're going to do them all.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's just start with this one.
So this is the drop C sharp. So down half a step, drop D. I noticed right off the bat you've got titanium, the nuts, and the saddles. Obviously, FU tone. Getting the strap on correct.
Adam and the Wizards at FU Tone have been kind enough to totally upgrade my Floyds.
Yeah, those make a difference as well. You've got the bigger block as well.
Yeah, the bigger block and all the titanium, and you do these Floyd upgrades.
Titanium,
and
yeah.
every guitar that with one of these that Adam's done sounds amazing.
Gotcha. And obviously Jackson, Scott's the signature artist with Jackson.
Yeah, my Jackson King V, which along with actually it was, I think they had sent me. I remember it was when we were with Iron Maiden. We played in Romania when I needed a guitar for something, and they sent me a King V.
I remember that because I was involved in that.
Yeah, it was just a one hum, kind of silvery gray, super simple King V, and I started playing it live, and I was like, man, I really love playing the V again, and I love my soloists.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But it was just something about having the V on, the feeling of the V, and the shape.
Bring out the Schenker in you.
I love V's. I had the Rhodes. That's the first Jackson I ever bought was a Rhodes, back in '82, and I've got my '81 Gibson V, which is my amazing sounding guitar. I love V's, and loved the feeling of that King V. And I was like, So I said to Mike at Jackson, I was like, what do you think if maybe the next signature model, whenever they decide we can do that, what if we did some type of V? And they ran that up the flagpole, and everybody was in, thought it was a great idea. And then we came up with a design because I love that classic look of a Gibson, but at the same time, I also love the sharp look of a Jackson.
Scratch plate makes a big difference.
Yeah, so we kind of found this this design, this hybrid that made it look different than any other Jackson King V that was out, but it keeps all the aesthetics of why I love Jackson at the same time.
Pickups, obviously, your JBs, Seymours. And
yes, these are JBs.
99.999% you just use the bridge pickup, correct?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know that I don't know that I've ever gone like this.
Even by accident?
By accident, of course.
Yeah.
And, that wouldn't happen on this guitar, I guess.
Yeah, but if it was up there,
there's plenty of times where I've done that where, of course, I have the volume off and then I'm playing. I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, oh, it's that.
And I also know you use the PMS, the pick mount, I believe, in some of these guitars that Adam and the boys make, which gives you extra girth, I guess, as well.
Yeah. Don't forget the Scotch tape. It keeps the high E.
Oh, Dime used to do the same thing.
Yeah, I have a really heavy right hand, and what ends up happening a lot is I'll push the strings and they get caught underneath the pickup.
Yeah,
and
so
it really sucks.
If you look at it, that's not Armando doing a bad job. It's him doing a good job and following Scott's instructions to make sure he can't catch his string, because that does suck when that happens.
And we're not actually quite sure what happened to this mirror just from sitting and over time and
it's cool though.
Sweat or whatever. And I thought for a minute about telling them to send out a new pickguard, but then I was like, nah.
Have them
I
copy
like
that.
how it's got kind of gross now.
They should make a vintage, authentic vintage version and do that.
Exactly.
So you have to give them gallons of sweat.
They need to relic it that.
Yeah, relic it, exactly. So, and all your guitars in this particular run, they're all the King Vs, but you've got two with fixed bridges. Any reason why you go between Floyd and fixed bridge?
Certain songs need the Floyd, certain songs don't.
So if you're not using a Floyd, you'll go fixed bridge?
No, not necessarily. There's plenty of songs where it doesn't really matter. Of these four guitars, my favorite sounding one is the white one.
Right.
Of the four, I just think that one's got the most balls. So I'll try and keep that one on as long as possible in the set till I feel like it needs a break.
Right. Do you think it's got anything to do with the fact you're using one of Dave Murray of Iron Maiden sweatbands to hold the wireless unit?
I've always said the secret over the last long time, the secret to my tone is the Iron Maiden sweatbands over my wireless packs.
Steve Harris on two. And the coolest one of all, in a weird way, homemade, I've just learnt by Armando's mother from some socks. Do you want to quickly grab the Rick Nielsen? And perfect, it's fixed bridge as well, so we get to see both.
I love to, here's the
sock.
Armando's mom custom sewed this from a sock for me to match the. It's pretty awesome.
So fixed bridge. Oh, I didn't notice that before. You've got the.
Yeah, I had him. I really had him go all out on the paint job for this. When I said I want to do an homage to Rick Nielsen, he's one of my favorites of all time, and of course he's got the Explorer with the checkerboard, which I was lucky enough a few years ago, he pulled me on stage at the Greek Theater to play a couple songs with them. And I'm like, which guitar? Because he's got 48 guitars there. And he's like, anyone you want. And of course, I grabbed the Explorer.
Did you ever think about the 12-neck one or no?
I not for that, but I've played it.
I have too.
I've played it on stage. It's insane.
It's nuts.
So I grabbed the Explorer, and I said, one of these days. So I said to them, hey, I want to do an homage to Rick's Checkerboard. I want it to be that off-white, just like his. And initially they came back with a kind of like, well, we could do it with like a decal. And I said, no. It's got to be a paint job. And they said, well, it's going to take a really long time. I said, I don't care. Where am I going? So it took about a year.
The pickups, but also the surrounds are painted as well.
Yeah, and they sent it over to the guy who does all the Zach's guitars. I mean, just what an unbelievable job.
It is.
They did on this.
Yeah, the only thing non-checkered is the fretboard,
right?
The bridge,
because
the tailpiece.
Rick's isn't.
Yeah.
Rick's pickups are done.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like this, and
also not forgetting the tape.
Yeah, the Scotch tape.
But you can see through it, so it counts.
Yeah, I love this. I love this guitar. I get worried about having it on tour. Yeah, sometimes something would happen to it, and sometimes I think about retiring it. But then I'm like, but then
what's the point?
I don't get to look at it.
Yeah,
when I'm on tour.
Cool. Well,
and it sounds great. It feels great.
It resonates.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. I'm so happy when I have it on. I look down and it just makes me smile because I think of Rick Nielsen.
Yep, good. Okay, so from there, let's quickly go through the signal chain. So from guitar to wireless, here we've got the red one. That's a cool looking guitar.
We shouldn't forget the straps, my mono straps, which, like these things, I'll tell you what, when you're playing 5 nights a week for years on end, these things save your shoulder. The cushioning on these, they just feel great. Mono makes great straps and great gig bags and cases.
They do.
They're amazing.
Is there a story behind this one?
I just wanted an amazing candy apple red V. Because nobody plays a candy. I don't see anyone playing one of these. And again, Jackson just did hands down. I mean, one of the best looking. You see it in the light. I mean, it's just such a beautiful red. And when I first had this out, we were out on tour with Slayer, and all their crew guys wanted to steal it. Specifically, one crew guy on stage right, whose name might be Warren Lee.
Yeah, he can afford it now after doing those ads.
He was like, I'm stealing that guitar, homie. And this one has the Baldini on the back of the neck.
Scott's nickname.
Yeah, Daryl gave me that nickname a long time ago. Also just great sounding guitar, great looking guitar. Love to play it. Again, has a pickup there for some reason. Freddie, it's only really just for
the looks,
because the V looks right.
Yeah, it does.
It
looks wrong with just one.
2 pickups. Yeah. So back to signal chain. Yeah, the wireless goes out, and then it ends up in there. I tried to explain this to my son the other day when he said, "Dad, where's your cord?" And I said, because he's never seen.
You're breathing it. Yeah.
My son's used to the big A rig, and it's just but he saw it kind of more broken down. He's like, "Dad, you're not plugged in." I said, "No, I am," and I explained how the signal goes from here to here to here to the pack, and then the pack sends the signal into the receiver, sends that through the pedal chain, and then into the amp.
Well, luckily Armando was nice enough to run me through the chain, and it's very eloquent. He's got this fairly simple, so he's got a 2-way selector switch, so he can select between guitars when he changes. Then it goes into this Fortin Roach, which splits it 2 ways. One way goes straight to this one control salamander tail loop selector where he's got the 3 pedals plus his wah when he's playing live in loops. But this is the other cool thing. This thing here goes to a key input on this, one of the best noise gates I've ever seen. This is a Mike Fortin, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Zool.
Zool, from the bad guy in Ghostbusters, Zool.
Oh, there you go. So,
yes.
So I am saying it right, Zool.
Zool.
And
it's the best noise gate ever made.
And what's happening here is this is purely keying the gate to open and close. He's got it in the effects loop, so the signal is being controlled by this signal, but it's not going anywhere else apart from hitting that. It's just opening and closing the gate in the effects loop.
For me, it's been like decades of,
Agony.
obviously I play very high gain kind of a rig. Going back to Marshall and the TC Electronic, straight Marshall, even with the gain all the way up, easily controllable. But once I started adding the TC box in front of it or anything, you're adding all this gain. And of course, well, then how do you control all that gain between the chords when you're, and so you're not getting whistles and screeches and all that. And it's been literally decades of different noise boxes, noise gates, all this. And some of them worked well, some of them have been terrible. And then Mike came out with this, and that was it. Right. All the rest of them went in the garbage.
And the cool thing about this one is because it's being keyed from the guitar signal itself, you don't have to reset the threshold for clean versus dirty. So that's kind of nice.
I mean, I could have the quickest, just in between, and all the in-betweens will be totally quiet. Because the in-between chord, the quiet between chords is just as important as the chords. Otherwise, there won't be any dynamics in any of your riffs.
So silence is good.
Yeah. Silence is great.
Yeah, Dime called them the holes of silence.
Yes.
And it's right, they're important.
Yes.
So in the looper, by the way, he's using the EVH 5153, but with the EL34 tubes.
Yes.
Which, once again, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yep.
You started with Marshall, you're ending up with 5150 right now, which is an amazing amp. And the EL34s give it that. Plus, it's an amazing amp, period, regardless of the tubes. But to my ears and to my chest, it gives you that Marshall-like thump.
There's a thump and a growl. I started buying EVH heads when they came out, even though I had my own Randall amp at the time. And but as soon as he put out his own amp, and I'm not even a lead guitar player, but Eddie's my favorite.
Right.
And he had just everything about him, his tone, everything is just the best. And so even when that first series of heads came out, I was like, I have to have it. So I got one of those, and then I got the next one he put out. And I've got them all. And then luckily enough for me, I ended up getting to have an endorsement deal with EVH as well. And man, when they sent me this thing, I was like, oh my God, I can't
you're using the cab with the 20-watt Celestions with the stripes in the back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a great sounding cab.
Yeah, I mean, just the growl in this thing. It's like a lion, like that guttural lion like roar.
But the clean channel is surprisingly clean, but
super clean
in a really sort of dynamic way.
Yeah,
it's not flaccid like some cleans or sharp.
No, it's great. I go into this clean channel and just maybe go to around 10 o'clock
on the gain,
and I could have like such a great Malcolm tone. It's awesome.
And then at the end of the day, he basically uses two channels for the most part unless he's playing lead, which is the third channel. When he's on channel 1, he's clicking in these mini TC Electronics, the mini Corona Chorus and the Flashback Echo, which is set for a really cool sound. And also for certain sounds on the Crunch, he's got a Moore phase pedal, which is basically a phase 90.
Yeah. And I also have a phase 90, and I've got the EVH.
Oh, the EVH is
I've got the Eddie
I love that one.
MXR one, which I think is in the big rig, right? Yeah, I have the MXR, the Eddie one, which also looks great. So
and they're very subtle about the name. It's called the 90 Orange. I have no idea what it could be. No idea. And the only thing missing out of here within the looping system, so clean is chorus and echo, dirty if he wants it, the phase, also a wah, and your two wahs are the CAE and the Kirk Hammett.
Yeah, the custom audio and the Kirk Hammett wah. And I prefer the Kirk one. I feel like there's just a little extra bite or something. I don't use it much. I use it in the solo. I play the solo and Got the Time. And where else do I use it? In Indians? Yeah, Madhouse and Indians. And there's something about the Kirk that just feels a little more, just meaner to me.
Plus, it's got that green skeletal foot.
It's got the cool. It looks cool. It's great when people put out stuff that not only does it sound amazing, but it's aesthetically pleasing to look at too. And don't get me wrong, I would play something in a boring brown box if it sounded great.
Right.
But it would be better if that brown box had like monster faces on it. Then I'd be happier to play that as long as it still sounded great.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Ian's rig. At the end of the day, all of this is important.
Wait. We skipped.
Oh, hold on.
We skipped one guitar.
Ooh,
quickly.
Cardinal Sin.
Just gotta show it.
This
quickly.
is the one this is your favorite right now. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah. This is I feel like this is the best sounding one. There's a low end to this guitar that none of these other three have for whatever
Is it
reason.
a thunk kind of thing?
Yeah. There's just this thing is thick, man. It just sounds great. Again, you know, FU Tone did the Floyd. I've got it so I can pull back on it.
Okay.
And,
So even with the bridge floating, not like locked down, it's still got an amazing low end. That's cool.
Amazing low end.
Shows you how important that titanium could
Yeah,
be.
I've got the Baldini logo on this one too. I've got a custom made
That's great.
to denote this one's the judge.
Yeah.
This is the Judge Ian.
I am the law.
Yeah,
Is it
this guitar is the law.
Baldini again.
Yeah, I try and use this one as much as I can in the set just because for me, the sound of this one just really kicks my ass.
Now, is it feel as well though?
Yeah.
it kinda
Because
gets
when
you.
I'm digging in on this one,
You feel it.
the energy that's coming at me on stage just helps me. The more energy I can absorb from what I'm playing or from the audience, it only makes my show better. So, this one is just such a joy. You know, and I have another one. The first King V they built me of my signature series. It's in the same kind of, you know, this classic, whatever you want to call this color, creamy, whatever.
Offy,
Yeah.
yeah.
The first one they built me, no Floyd, regular one. That's my number one. That one stopped touring because that's the best sounding guitar ever I own. And up until that point, it was the my 81 Gibson V. That's my secret weapon. That's the guitar that's pretty much been the main guitar for main rhythm tracks on every record I've ever made. And using Jackson's, of course, all over albums and stuff. But a lot of the main rhythm tracks was that Gibson. And going into 4-0 Kings, I think I had that. Did I have? No. Going into 4-0 Kings at some point when we were writing that record is when I got that King V from them. And it's like, man, this one sounds really, really great. And then when we actually got in the studio, started tracking the record, and I'd bring like 30 guitars down and sit there with Jay, and we go through every single guitar. And
just to see which one
and it
feels
came
the
down to
best.
that King V and my Gibson, and we went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the King V beat it.
Now, did it beat it because it had a Dave Murray wristband on it?
It might have.
That could have been it, the eyes.
Actually, there's one I don't have here, which is kind of pointless to talk about. But I got one. It looks like a classic, like 58 V. It's Carina, all natural, solid Carina.
Oh, I've seen that one. It's
with
beautiful.
gold hardware, and it just looks amazing. And I haven't gotten in the studio yet with it. That'll be next record next year or whenever we get in the studio. But I think it might beat the white one. It sounds so amazing. It's one of those ones when I play it again, I feel like I'm a better guitar player than I am because it just sounds so good and it feels so good. It makes me play better.
It's like a symbiotic relationship, right?
Yeah.
If the sound and feel is right, because sometimes it can sound good and it doesn't feel right. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Something about playing it, it's like when you sit down in your favorite chair and you're like, oh, this feels good. Like, same thing on the guitars. There's something about playing a chord and you're like, oh man, that just feels awesome.
That's the best open A ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.